Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on ACCA's employability focused webinar around what is the right career choice for you. My name is Waleed, and I'm really privileged this evening to be joined by someone very special from ACCA Middle East. So I will be doing the introductions first, talking about the agenda, and then we'll go into the webinar flow. And I would like to keep some time at the end for some Q&A. If you've got any questions that you would like to ask us midway, please feel free to use the chat box, raise any questions that you have. But we will also have some time at the end where we can take some questions. I am estimating an approximate 1 hour for this webinar. So I think we should be done by around 8 o'clock with the Q&A. So let's see how that progresses. So first up, I would just like to go over the agenda for this webinar. So as I told you that we are joined by someone really special from ACCA Middle East this evening, and he will be talking about ACCA qualification and the routes. So if you've got any kind of questions around your entry routes, the requirements, anything to do with the ACCA qualification, then we've got someone really expert today to answer all your questions around there. We will also have a Q&A session with them about the employability skills and careers after ACCA. So if you're wondering any kind of move after your studies into any particular industries, any kind of roles, then we have it all covered there. So we'll have a good Q&A session with our expert this evening, where they will be talking about the right skills that you need with the qualification and what are the future careers for you after qualifying with ACCA. I will then talk about Kaplan's ACCA program and how we are focusing more on career and employability so that you get an opportunity to upskill yourself and then be more employable. We also have Savita with us on today's webinar a bit later in this webinar, who has been recently announced as a top affiliate in UAE. So we'll speak to her. We'll get insights into how she became the top affiliate, what was special that she did as part of her prep, and then how is she upskilling herself in terms of the work life, and what is she currently doing in terms of her career prospects. And after that, finally, a little QA and a question at the end to answer all your questions. So, sorry. Apologies. So first up, a bit about me. So my name is Waleed, and I am the head of exam prep at Kaplan Professional Middle East. I studied at Kaplan when I was a student, and that was many years ago. And obviously that I loved it so much that I eventually joined here as the head of exam prep this year. I have been teaching financial management and management accounting papers of ACCA for the last 10 years in this region. My training methodology is always on exam and memory techniques. And some of you who have been in my classes would remember the kind of mnemonics and memories that we play with in these papers. I absolutely love training, and I took this as a career in full-time education in 2015. So when I moved to UAE in 2010, from 10 to 15, I worked in industry, in finance. I also freelanced with a lot of institutes here. But in 2015, I took a call to move into full-time education sector. And then since then, I've been here in this sector. I was also nominated, really privileged to have been nominated as the PQ Tutor of the Year in this year. And that is just a brief intro about me. And at this point, I would like to introduce our special guest for this evening. And we are really honored that we are joined by Taher Kapasi from ACCA, and he is the Regional Education Manager of ACCA in the Middle East. So Taher, over to you for your introduction, and if you can tell us more about ACCA qualification, please.
Thank you very much, Waleed. Thanks for the warm welcome and the introduction. It's my pleasure to be a part of this session today. Naturally, Kaplan being one of our approved learning providers, it falls on our responsibility to help our learning providers with sessions like these, where we can collaborate and educate and enhance the knowledge of some of our students or prospective students. So it's my pleasure to be here. A quick introduction about myself. Like Waleed, I'm also an ACCA member. Studied for my ACCA qualification back in the UK. I have, post completing my ACCA qualifications journey, had some experience of working within the industry, within the firms, not just in the UAE, but also in the UK, back in India as well. In 2014, I decided to take a leap into the education and training side of business. And then since then, haven't looked back. It's been a great journey because I particularly get to speak along this journey. I get to speak to a lot of aspiring individuals, a lot of accounting professionals, which, I love informing and guiding on what are the future career prospects that they can look at with a qualification like ACCA, because I'm a living example, as Waleed is, of the benefits that we've seen by getting a qualification like the ACCA. So without further ado, less talking about ourselves, and I think I'll move on to the main crux of the evening, which is the ACCA qualification, where Waleed and I will try and talk to you about the benefits of the qualification, but not just the benefits. We'll also try and explain to you how this journey works. And I'd like to emphasize on the word journey, because this is indeed truly a journey. We've all experienced it, at some point. If you are an existing ACCA student or somebody who's aspiring to be an ACCA, we've been on this journey with ACCA where, we've been students, we've been affiliates, we've been members. And at every step of our journey, we've seen how ACCA has taken progressive steps to, support our career development, our ambitions, also ensure that we are progressing with our plans. So let's get cracking and let's see what ACCA is. So Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, that's what ACCA stands for. It is a chartered qualification body based in the UK, formed in 1904. So we've got a heritage, and we've got over 116 years worth of experience under this qualification. 116 years to constantly evolve the qualification, to keep it relevant, to keep it forward looking, in the interest of not just our students, but also in the interest of the employers, the policymakers, governments, as well as in the interest of shaping broadly the professional qualification. We are proud to be one of the largest professional qualifications body, supporting a lot of students, members, and broadly the accountancy profession in general. And when we say larger, let me give you a few numbers. So we're looking at around 230,000 plus members, qualified members, ACCA active members across the globe, spread across the globe. We've got about 550,000 ACCA students pursuing the ACCA qualification across the globe as we speak. And these are all supported by our huge network of learning providers, employers that we have across the 180 odd countries that we are recognized and accepted in. So the big thing is that 70% of these numbers that I've just given to you or shared with you right now are all based outside the UK. Even though this is a UK qualification, the spread, the breadth of this qualification is huge, and 180 countries means a lot in terms of the recognition, in terms of the acceptance, in terms of the spread of our students and member base. So wherever you go, you will find like-minded students, like-minded members pursuing the qualification, or employers and senior people acknowledging the fact that you have studied a qualification which is so widely recognized and respected. Now, moving on, let's look into the specifics around, getting the ACCA qualification. It typically involves three main things. There are the three E's, as we like to call it. The first E stands for exams. Second E stands for ethics and professional skills module. And the third E stands for experience. We will obviously talk about all of these components, as we progress through the presentation today. What you're seeing right now in front of you on the screen is typically the structure of our ACCA exam. The qualification consists of 16 exams in total, which you are seeing on the screen right now. In order to pass the exam, you need a minimum of 4 exams. In order to pass the exam elements, you need to either pass a minimum of 4 or a maximum of 13 examinations, depending on where you enter the qualification or which route you take. And I'll explain that in a moment as well. But let's understand the structure of the examinations. You start off with the applied knowledge level, which is the small green box you see on your screen, which basically consists of subjects like management accounting, financial accounting. Now, these are crucial subjects for you to be able to build your foundation into an accounting qualification. As you progress through these exams, you move into the applied skills, which is the little blue box that you see in the center of your screen. Now, applied skill exams are basically the exams that will enhance your technical skills, your technical competency, because if you look at the subjects and the coverage that you have whilst pursuing the applied skill papers, you see things like corporate and business law, performance management, taxation, financial reporting, audit and assurance, financial management. So if you look at the holistic coverage of the qualification, it gives you insights and right blend of technical skills into a lot of core areas of accounting. These are all the areas within the sphere of the accounting and finance profession that help organizations and future accounting and finance professionals to sustain their practices, to sort of grow, to sort of make much more informed decisions. Now, these two levels in combination form 9 papers. These are available for exemptions as well. This is the maximum number of exemptions that anybody can receive for any relevant prior learning they may have. And we'll look at that also in the upcoming slides. When you move into the strategic professional level, which is the final cream box on the right hand side of your screen, you see there are a total of 6 exams there. You've only got to do 4 out of the 6 available exams. The first 2 obviously are compulsory, and they're compulsory for anybody who's pursuing the qualification. The last 2 can be any 2 out of the options that you see on the screen. So out of the 4, depending on your choice, your career ambitions, your preferences, you can pick any of these 2 exams. So you could either go for the advanced financial management, advanced performance management, advanced taxation, or advanced audit and assurance. These are all based on your personal preferences, or if your employer is sponsoring you, depending on what their requirements are in terms of pursuing these optional exams. But our recommendation is, by the time you get up to your options stage, you should be in a fairly you should be in a position where you're fairly able to decide what exams are best for you to sort of navigate through your future career aspirations. The strategic professional level exams are basically not available for exemptions. These are compulsory for anybody to do, regardless of whatever prior qualifications or learning you might have. So these exams are all pretty much available for anyone to do, which is why I said you've got to do a minimum of 4 or a maximum of 13 exams. If you don't have any exemptions, you start right at the applied knowledge level and you move through the remaining exams. Now, all of these exams are available during 4 windows of a year. So every year in March, June, September, and December, we have our ACCA examination windows. Students get the opportunity to sit these exams 4 times a year. The first 4 exams, which is the 3 exams of applied knowledge, as well as the corporate and business law exams, are pretty much available on demand. So you can sit for these exams anytime you feel you are ready to sit them. The remaining exams are available within the 4 windows that we have. All our exams are computer-based exams, and they're a mix of objective test questions as well as case study type questions as you progress. Moving on, we'll look at the eligibility criteria. So entering the qualification is quite simple, because we've always felt that everybody deserves a fair chance to pursue a professional qualification. In fact, we were one of the first bodies to sort of introduce anyone into the chartered sort of qualification, or a chartered, or allow people to pursue a chartered qualification without any prerequisites. And we've carried on that entire founding principle of allowing student that flexibility, of allowing student the equal opportunity. So you see different paths of entry over here on your screen. The foundation in accountancy is basically an entry route for anybody who does not have a lot of prior academic qualifications. So if you're somebody who's dropping out from the school, or if you've got very basic minimal education, you can start from the foundations in accountancy route. If you've got a minimum of 2 A levels or 3 GCSEs or equivalent, including mathematics and English, you can pretty much start with our applied knowledge and skills levels and get straight into the ACCA qualifications. This is also relevant for equivalent degrees, for whether you are graduating from a Indian school, a Pakistani school, a British school, no matter whatever curriculum you have, you are pretty much eligible. As long as you meet the entry requirements, you are eligible to join into the ACCA qualification. If you are a university graduate, depending on the number of exemptions you get, you can either come into the applied knowledge levels, applied skills levels, or straight away into the strategic professional level. So if you study with one of our accredited university partners whose accounting program has got certain number of exemptions, then you can look at claiming those exemptions at the time of registration and start at the right level of your examination. So like I said, the examinations, there are a minimum of 4, maximum of 13. You've got to record a 36 months worth of relevant work experience. Now, this is an area we will constantly be discussing, throughout the session today. So I will not spend too much time on the experience element, except I would like to tell you that yes, 36 months in a relevant accounting or finance role. When I say relevant accounting or finance, it needs to be within the accounting and finance designations, positions. It doesn't matter whichever industry, doesn't matter whichever organization, as long as you are doing a role that is relevant, you're doing jobs that are relevant to accounting and finance, you can pretty much, claim those months of experience towards your practical experience requirement. And another important component of the qualification is the ethics module. Now, this is not an exam. It is an online ethics module that comprises of several learning units. Now, the exams will shape your technical competencies and technical skills. Your ethics and professional skills module will really help polish some of your professional skills, like the name suggests. So we cover elements such as communication, networking, business acumen, team leadership, etc. These are all the kind of skills that your future employers would basically like to see in you when they're sort of making that decision of hiring you. Your ACCA qualification will obviously give you that edge, but combined in totality, the exams are polishing your skills, whilst the ethics and professional skills will really help enhance some of your employability elements and skills as well, which makes you a well-rounded professional. Moving on. So as discussed, our examinations are pretty much on a computer now. We've moved from being a paper-based examination into, computer-based examination. The first 4 are on-demand computer-based exams, pretty much readily available to take anytime with an ACCA-approved learning exam center. These are 2-hour exams, which comprise of, around approximately 50 multiple choice or, objective test questions, as they say. Our session-based computer exams, which is, starting from applied skills all the way up to strategic professionals, are also examined on a computer, but are only available 4 times a year, like I said. These basically comprise a mix of objective test questions as well as, short case study type questions, where you've got to you get a scenario given, you've got to assess that scenario, you've got to answer, you've got to work through, but you do all of that using sophisticated tools, and our exam platform, where you answer your questions using a spreadsheet or a word processing unit or a PowerPoint presentation if it is required to do so. You need to get a 50% pass mark to pass your exams. So 50% is what you need to score in order to, complete one exam and proceed to the next one. There isn't any grouping system on the qualification, so it is as simple as it could be. You pass one exam, you move on, and you take the next available exams that you can sit. If you don't, unfortunately, for any reason, then you resit the exam and you carry on, etc. Or you could decide to completely do a fresh exam and come back to your previous exam at any other point later in your journey. We've got some really key and significant partnerships also along the journey that you as ACCA students might potentially experience. So with our partnerships with Oxford Brookes University or University of London, you can also look at getting yourselves great academic qualifications, which which pretty much I myself have. I was a school leaver. I never went to a university. As soon as I finished my school, my high school, I started pursuing the ACCA qualification because I was decided this is where I wanted to head. That's what I wanted to build a career in. It's a different thing. I've had a shift in my career at some point in my life, but that shift was also largely assisted by the fact that I had my ACCA qualification. And if you see, I am pretty much still with the body, somewhere associated with ACCA, not just making reports and and building financial statements, etc., but still associated and pretty much within the industry. But these two academic qualifications are pretty much available to ACCA students, members, and affiliates exclusively. These are an opportunity for those that want to aspire and want to commit themselves to getting an academic qualification. So once you complete the first 9 ACCA exams, you can look at getting the BSc honors from Oxford Brookes University as well, which is the degree that I have, and which is something that is pretty much valid and accepted across the globe. Once you've completed your strategic professional level, you also have the opportunity to pursue a master's qualification from University of London by just doing 2 additional modules. You don't need to do really any extensive exams or spend 2 years completing a full master's program. You can readily sort of benefit from getting a professional MSc in professional accountancy from University of London, just purely on the basis of the exams that you have given on your strategic professional level with ACCA, plus completing the 2 modules with University of London online, pretty much learning through their LMSs and their built-in content. So these are 2 very good partnerships that we have, that students usually benefit from across the globe. Now, let's talk about some more partnerships. So there are a lot of mutual recognition agreements that we have as ACCA, and these are agreements that we put in place specifically for our members to benefit, because we are pretty much a open network. We would love to offer our members huge amounts of opportunities across the globe. Some of our strategic partnerships, within UAE, one of the key ones is our partnership with AAA, that recognizes us as a professional qualification. Our qualification is pretty much equal to AAA's qualification. Moving on, we've got many other mutual recognition agreements with associations like CAANZ in Australia and New Zealand, the CGACPA Canada, also the Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and the Malaysian Institute of Certified Public Accountants. And these are just to name a few pretty relevant within the region. Apart from this, we have 74 other mutually recognition agreements for our ACCA members that they can extensively use to and benefit from as they sort of aspire their next steps in their career goals. Moving on.
Yes, thanks a lot, Taher, for this. This was really, really useful. I mean, thanks for all the introduction about ACCA. And I'm sure anyone who's starting their ACCA journey very soon, they may have more questions for us, which we can keep at the end. But this covers pretty much everything. I mean, any kind of doubts anyone would have been pretty much cleared with this. Now, I've kept this short session in this presentation. This is just a bit of Q&A session with you. Obviously, you are the best one here to guide us from ACCA's viewpoint as well. And being in the industry for so long, and you worked in industry, and you worked in Big Fours, you worked in now working at ACCA. So perhaps it could be a great learning for all of us to understand from you. My first question, to you would be that after completing ACCA, I mean, what career options do students have? What kind of sectors or industries do you think students can go in after they become affiliates?
Thanks, Waleed. And I often get these sort of questions, in every sessions I do, and it's quite interesting. I mean, the only if you asked me to answer this question in one single sentence, it would just be sky is the limit, because whether it is a recession or a boom, and you yourself being an ACCA member, I'm sure you realize that accountants are professions that are sought out, that are by organizations across the globe, whether organizations or whether there is an economic there's a rise or there's a downturn. Organizations need accounting and finance professionals. Organizations need capable people to help guide them, steer through whatever circumstances they are going through. So the choice is pretty much open. There are loads of opportunities available. If we talk specifically about the firms, which is, the likes of the big fours or the mid tier firms, etc. Students can look or aspire to start their journeys within the assurance sector, joining the audit and assurance side of things, or as they progress, they can look into moving into consultancy, risk advisory, tax assurance services. So there's a whole list of different sort of career paths that students can, or future members can look into growing into. Now, it's all going to boil down to their personal choices, because accountancy, if you look at it, is a broad umbrella. If I can explain this quickly, within accountancy, the sphere of accountancy, there are several different pathways that students can take, and depending on their area of interest, they can decide to go into auditing completely. That's one entire silo. They can decide to go into corporate finance. They can decide to go into advisory and risk assurance, and there's so many different sort of line of services that are pretty much available to students who aspire to have a career in accounting and finance. On the industry side, they can pretty much work within any industry. Every industry, every business, every organization needs accounting and finance professionals, because they need to see what's happening with their finances. They need to see how valuable they are, how profitable they are, what's happening with their. So the industry, the scope of where the opportunities lie is pretty wide. So in the firms, students can look at growing from the associate level, which is the basic level, right up to a partner level, which is the top notch level that somebody can get into. Likewise, in the industry, they can start with something as basic as a junior accountant or an analyst, and then grow all the way up to becoming the future CFOs, CEOs, or even COOs nowadays of an organization. So pretty sort of wide prospect in terms of career scalability and growth opportunities. Now, there is one thing in specific that I'd like to highlight, and that's also one of the research pieces that we recently produced. It's called the Future Ready Talent, and the future of accounting careers 2020 and beyond. Now, this research search for this piece of research and read through it, because it talks to professional can look into aspiring, because the profession is evolving. Many announcements that is happening in the profession. There are so many factors for doing that the future accounting and finance professionals will have. One is the assurance advocate, which is again the core of accounting as a qualification. The assurance element around the organizations will always stay. Second is the business transformer. The future accountants will be people who will help businesses transform their positions, transform their strategy, help businesses with changing in terms of being the data navigator, because data is the new oil, as they say. And accountants are the people who understand. Accounting and finance professionals are those that understand the numbers, that they understand the data. So data navigator is going to be a huge segment. There'll also be people who will be the digital playmakers. So these are going to be the people who are going to start blurring the line between digital advancements and financial accountability. So digital playmaker is also going to be a huge sort of part where accounting and finance professionals can look forward to having a sustainable career. And sustainability trailblazers. So again, this is an area which accounting and finance professionals are hugely going to be required. Organizations are going to need to make sensible decisions, and the only people who can help organizations make the sensible decisions are going to be accounting and finance professionals. So the choices are immense.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Taher. And I think that's what we love most about this qualification, that it opens up so many routes and industries and sectors for you, that there's something for everyone. whether you want to work in particular industry, a role. You could be an entrepreneur as well. I mean, that's something which I encourage a lot of students to take. I mean, decide what you want to do. So that's something that's great. So I mean, when you have so many industries available and there are so many choices available, then how does ACCA qualification equip the students with the right kind of skills that they can then decide to go in different industries? I mean, how does a qualification build those skill set for these students as part of their journey?
So in terms of really, building the skill sets, I mean, we've already looked and touched upon some of these elements within the presentation. If we start talking about the syllabus, or we start talking instantaneously, as soon as somebody sees the presentation, you're able to tell, wow, this is covering a plethora of technical competencies that are actually required for somebody to sort of perform the jobs very efficiently within the sphere of accounting and finance. Keep our sort of members, students, and affiliates fairly forward-looking and fairly relevant is the fact that starting from our syllabus, that's the first and the most important thing. Now, our syllabuses get constantly updated, and we ensure that we review our syllabuses on a yearly basis to keep them relevant, and we include current topics on an annual basis. So, being a tutor yourself, you would have obviously witnessed how ACCA evolves and enhances their syllabuses. Recently, we've done a lot to take into consideration things like data analytics, AI, big data. A lot of we were the first, by the way, to sort of incorporate integrated reporting into our professional qualification exams. Students and affiliates are constantly, forward-looking. If we talk about our exams are also pretty much preparing our students to meet the needs of the future sort of employers. Specifically the fact that they are all case study based exams, particularly exam sessions, scenarios, etc., from one session to the other. Even our strategic professional level exams, if you see, are particularly designed to enhance our students' skills and abilities to sort of tackle real life working scenarios. Talk about our ethics and professional skills module. It is also specifically designed to upskill and develop our students professional skills aside from the technical skills that the examinations would be developing. There's so many things that students learn by just completing our ethics and professional skills module. And I think lastly, the we always recommend to our students that they shouldn't wait all of their exams to start with the work experience bit. They should, as much as possible, start
Yes, Taher, your voice was just breaking at the end, but I did pick a lot about that about the changes in syllabus and how ACCA is equipping the students with the right kind of skill set. Just a small question on that. I mean, last 2 years we have seen how data has come as and you yourself said data is the next fuel. And it's all about data and how we can use the data in the best form and manner in our workplaces. And I can see that ACCA already has done enough changes in the qualification, being the leaders in those changes and trying to equip students with the right kind of data changes. Talk about big data, talk about data visualization, etc. Is there anything else planned in the future? I mean, or what is ACCA doing specifically to focus more on this use of data going forward? Taher, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, I think I lost you guys for a bit. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. I think if you just switch off your camera, maybe that may improve the quality of this.
Yep. Let me
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. Did you hear my question, last one, Taher, about the digital side?
I did, yes, I did. So
Yeah.
basically it all starts with digital and with sort of as a professional qualifications body, we've done quite a lot to incorporate digital into all aspects of the qualification. Now we've incorporated this into pretty much every element of the qualification. It keeps reflecting into all of the innovative changes that we keep making to the qualification time and again to ensure that it is actually forward looking and meeting the demands of the future employer. So our journey of innovations basically started from moving our exams to CBE first in 1998. Since then we've successfully moved all of our exams to computer based exams, giving our students the opportunity to prepare themselves for the changing expectations of their employers. There is also extensive coverage of digital and data analytics within the ethics and professional skills module for students. We've also embedded a lot of data analytics into our recent syllabus enhancements, to help our students enhance their sort of data skills, their digital analysis skills, as well as data analytics skills, etc. Now, we don't just stop there. The journey to support our students then consistently carries on even when they become members of the qualification, and it continues via providing our members the opportunity to continuously develop themselves professionally via relevant topics, via webinars, via even creating short certificates that they could sort of do, because we don't want our members also to feel like they've missed out on anything. So we've specifically created some certificates like digital innovation in finance, certificate in data analytics, that is carefully curated to help our members, our students, basically enhance their skills and their employability prospects. So we basically tapped into the insights and experience of our global partners to come up with innovative solutions that helps our students and members progress well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I teach advanced performance management exam of ACCA, and I was just amazed at the kind of updates that I've taken in that paper over the last few years, keeping in data into mine. And the best thing is that how frequently is that being tested now? So the examining teams are really keen to test candidates on their ability to understand data science and how that may benefit the business and organizations going forward. So that's just amazing. The last question which I would like to ask you is, in terms of careers and after ACCA, how employable you can become and what kind of skill set you can obtain. How important is it for ACCA candidates to study with an approved study provider, rather than studying on their own? I mean, what would be the benefit of going to approved study provider for any ACCA candidate? Would that help them in their career in any way? Tyler, I think your voice is breaking again. There's some connectivity issue. Um, Let me just.
Hi, Waleed. Sorry, my apologies.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, it seems fine now. It seems fine. We couldn't get much of your last thing that you said. So again, I'll just read my question. So the question was
Right.
that how important would be to study with an approved study provider rather than doing the qualification on your own? How would it help you with your employability or career prospects?
So it's like investing in your future, and when we speak about investing, or when we think about investing in our future, we want to make the best investments. You teach financial management continuously, Waleed, and I'm sure you understand about investments and how making the right form of investments is quite crucial for organizations. And I would urge to anybody that's listening to this conversation today, and I would like to sort of tell them that think about studying with an approved learning partner as investing in money or investing in your future in the right way, because our approved learning partners are come with certain assurance. They are monitored by us constantly, sometimes 4 times a year, in terms of ensuring that our students get the best of the best experience with them. And not just that, but also having that kind of assurance that our students are in safe hands, because their tutors are all professional, they are all qualified, they've been doing this for years and years, and they know what is the best way to ensure or help students with progressing through their exams. So it's absolutely critical for students who are aspiring to have a career in accounting and finance, or even aspiring to sort of pursue the ACCA qualification, to study with an approved learning partner, because that's an investment you need to make in yourself. That's an investment in the career. You want to progress, you want to make smart choices, and you want to get up the ladder as quickly as possible. So I cannot emphasize this point enough, but do study with an approved learning partner, because you are giving yourself an opportunity to progress through your plans a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Taher, for that. I mean, it just overran on what my time for this slot was, but I think it was very, very useful for everyone to hear from an expert like you. And if anyone has any questions for Taher in terms of careers or anything about ACCA, I would appreciate if you can please leave the question in the chat box. And I would just finish my remaining part of the presentation in about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come back to these questions. So thanks, Taher. Well, I may need you for a bit of Q&A at the end if anyone
Thank
has
you,
any
Ali. No
questions.
problem. No
Thank
problem.
you. So moving on, I will just quickly talk a bit about Kaplan in like 5-10 minutes. So Kaplan's placement programs is what I would like to talk about. And since I joined Kaplan this year, there has been a lot of focus on ensuring that candidates are also placed in the right kind of jobs. And over the last few weeks only, these are some of the candidates that we have placed at different employers. And it's just that being at Kaplan, it gives us that immense network of employers where employers come and ask us about the right kind of candidates, and then we can recommend them the suitable candidates, and they can be interviewed by the employers, and then hopefully be offered some sort of internships or placements. Again, there's no guarantee of any jobs. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but at least we have access to the pool of employers where we can recommend students. And I'm really, really happy to see Afra, Sabita, and Ruchita, who were placed over the last few weeks into very different sort of the job environments. And I'm really glad that Savita is with us today, who will be I will be taking on very shortly for some Q&A and ask her about her journey. So right now, as we are speaking, we are also going through an ACCA Achievers program, so which some of you may have seen on our social recently, that we have 3 days of this training, which is for our ACCA students. 1 day is dedicated to technical and skills training. Today, they did a day worth of behavioral sessions where there was a lot of focus on personal branding, presentation, emotional well-being, resilience, and also CV writing. And tomorrow we have a big day here at Kaplan where we are inviting a lot of employers and presenting all these students in this pool to go through a round of interviews in the full day, and hopefully then the employers can match the attendees of the program with their kind of requirements and offer them some sort of internships or placements in that careers day tomorrow. talking about careers, and obviously I talked earlier about the our top affiliate, and then she also got placed into an accounting firm. I'm really glad that I have Savita with me here, who was recently announced at ACCA top affiliate. Hi Savita, can you just confirm if you can hear me well?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. I mean, congratulations for the award, and congratulations for the new job as well. Would you just like to tell us a bit about yourself briefly?
Yeah, good evening all. I'm Savita. I recently completed my ACCA journey in Kaplan, and I'm a top graduate in my university, and I'm the third top affiliate in UAE in ACCA strategic professional exams. Currently, I'm working as an audit intern in an accounting firm. That's all about myself.
Okay, that's great. Thanks a lot for that brief intro. So tell us more about that ACCA Top Affiliate Award. I mean, so how did you get that? I mean, what paper helped you most in that affiliate award, and how much did you score really in that?
Amongst all the 4 papers that I wrote, I scored the highest in advanced financial management. I scored 89.
Oh, that's an insane score. That's great score. I mean, congratulations on that. And I'm really glad that that helped you in your prize. So would you briefly tell us? I mean, how did Kaplan support you in your AFM exam, Savita?
Yeah, I scored the highest in AFM, which I did in Kaplan. So I would love to speak about my experience in Kaplan. The tutor at Kaplan was extremely supportive. He made the subject very easy and interesting. And he was not just available during the class hours, there was a WhatsApp group for us. So whatever doubts we had, it got cleared instantly through WhatsApp. And apart from that, Kaplan's materials, they were really good. Just learning that was more than enough to score well on the AFM exam. I need to specially mention about the pocket notes. It was a very tiny book, but it had lots of content. And just going through that really well helped me score a very good mark on theory. And apart from that, the revision sessions, and we had 2 mock exams. So both of them happened on ACCA CB platform. So we had sufficient practice on the CB platform. So I felt very confident attending the exam. Yeah, overall, my journey in Kaplan was really good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks for the kind words. And obviously, then we help you with your placement in one of the accounting firms. So how's your work life now? I mean, what are you learning? How was that journey? What is the most exciting part of being employable now?
Yeah, I've learned a lot of skills in this short span of 2 months. Firstly, I've learned several accounting softwares because I'm working for different clients. So some examples, if I should state, include Microsoft Dynamics, Tally, QuickBooks, Zoho, Fresa, etc. And doing bank reconciliation, vendor reconciliation, and auditing various clients. I have learned a lot of skills, and I'm finally happy that I'm getting to apply my skills in real world.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Savita. I mean, thanks a lot for sharing all this insight. I wish we had a lot of time to talk with you, and obviously we would invite you to do a few more videos because your experiences are really good for other students to learn. But thanks again for joining us, and I'm really glad that we help you on your journey, and not just for the exam, but beyond exams in making you more employable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So moving on from this point, I'll take maybe 5 more minutes about Kaplan's training solutions, and then we'll go straight into Q&A because I know that there are a few questions there for me and Taher, so we'll take those questions. So about Kaplan, we have been training for the last 80 years, part of Fortune 500 companies, and thousands of students worldwide have been trained under the Kaplan umbrella. And I mean, this region is experiencing Kaplan for the first time now over the last couple of years. And it's been a phenomenal last few years where we've seen Kaplan build the brand in this region. And of course, we have plans to go beyond UAE as well. And I see in the next 3 to 5 years, we being available in all the bigger parts of this region, which is GCC. More about Kaplan. So one of the things which really excites me is that all the learning is evidence-based. So it's not about only learning and throwing theories and questions and formulas at students. It's about making sure that that learning is very, very evidence-based. So for example, what is the benefit of having a timetable? What are the knowledge checks? When do you do your test? What kind of questions you do? Can you do everything available in your ACCA studies? No. So we are not fond of that. And that is where our evidence comes, that we take the right kind of questions, right kind of materials, which is very, very focused in helping you ensure that you pass. And we're very fortunate to have Kaplan Publishing that supports us in this entire project, where special mock exams are created, content is created so that you can pass your exams with the minimal effort, and you don't have to go through the entire study text, and therefore be able to achieve success in a relatively short period of time. Because as we understand that students these days, they have got certain other pressures as well. There's personal life, there is work life, and therefore this evidence-based learning really, really helps and supports them in their journey on ACCA. There are different training programs or platforms where you could study ACCA. There is classroom, face-to-face, you could do it live online. You can also do it on demand. And then obviously we've got our gold standard study materials, which I'll talk about in a second. So first of all, classroom face-to-face. So we've got our brilliant premises here, beautiful premises in Rolex Tower, India FC. So at any point, if you would like to visit us, my team would like to welcome you here to see our premises. And this is where the tutor-led classes happen, where all the classes we have here, helping students to learn, those who prefer to go into classes face-to-face. We also have live online, which is the same classes, but being streamed at the same point that they're being delivered in the classes. So whether you want to come to the classes or watch them online from your home or workplace, there's an option there as well. And the engagement has been very, very strong because of the ability of trainers to interact with students on these live online classes as well. The third medium to learn is on demand. These are pre-recorded videos available with mock exams all set up. So the only thing is you join the on-demand product, you go through the plan that has been set in the product, you watch the videos, you do the mock exams, your exams are then marked, and then we give you some feedback on your progress. And that's how you go through an on-demand platform of learning. So this is more of self-study, which has been coupled with a lot of tutor support from the UK and Dubai. And of course, the study materials and again, the study text, pocket notes, exam kits, workbooks are available. And as Savita was mentioning about that smallest book there on the screen, just next to the tab, that's the pocket notes, which just summarizes an entire kind of a syllabus in like few pages, which is really, really strong and powerful. And I just love these pocket notes in the classes when I'm teaching. There are obviously more study resources available as well, where there's a video library, range of mock exams available. There is places where you can track progress of your scores and mock exams. So a whole range of reporting can be taken on different papers that you are sitting. As Savita also mentioned about the CB platform, so we have two CB platforms. One is our own My Kaplan CB platform, and these are unseen questions available in this My Kaplan CB platform, originated from the UK. And you can set these exams when you want or when the tutor guides you. And the second platform is ACCA's brilliant test reach software, which we just love because this is 100% exam experience. We have also input questions here into this platform, which we love using on the revision. So there are some mock exams that you do on My Kaplan, then there are some mock exams that you do on test reach, and together a blended approach of these two ensures that you are ready for your exam on a computer-based environment. We also have a pass assurance, although you won't need that much after having all these resources, but just in case if things don't work out and if you qualify the criteria, there's a pass assurance, which means you can sit your exam again. You can have us provide you with all the training, and once you meet that criteria, then we are happy to give you personal feedback on how you can improve. There could be more mock exams which you haven't seen, and obviously you can have more tutor support on that area as well. So we are not leaving you till we achieve a pass out of you. That's the whole idea here. And this is our team of trainers going into the December sitting, which is starting next week. And as you can see, I'm there to teach a bit of financial management and performance management. We've got Natalie, who teaches performance management, SPL. Amar Mehra is a seasoned tax trainer. We have Josefa, who teaches audit. We have Sagar, who is an audit expert. Sana as well on finance and tax. She's brilliant at what she does. We have Ali Shefi, who's here for financial reporting, SPR, and financial accounting experts. And we've got Marissa, who teaches the FIA papers and skilled in those kind of subjects like BT, FA, and law. So a whole star study team is available for you going into your exams in the December sitting. And I would just like to mention something on the prize winners. And this is these are just some of the prize winners which Kaplan has achieved over the last 1.5 years being in this region. And since September 2019, 1 in 5 of ACCA Applied Skills and Strategic Professional Prize winners have been Kaplan students. This is a research from the UK, which clearly shows the benefit of studying with Kaplan materials and Kaplan being your training provider. Last bit, which I would like to mention here, is just the start date. So we have courses starting over the next couple of weeks. So if you're interested in any kind of subject for ACCA, please feel free to get in touch with me or my team. I will leave our contact details for you at the end. But at this point, without wasting any time, I would like to open this for some questions. So I have a couple of questions. First up, and this first question is from Rashida, and her question is that, will the ACCA qualification provide me with employability in India? Taher, would you like to try and answer this?
Yep, certainly, Waleed. Thanks a lot for passing this on. Rashida, that's a very good question. And my short answer to your question is yes, very much. ACCA as a qualification is pretty much, recognized and widely accepted across all the states of India. We've, in fact, to support some of our students, affiliates, and members, we've got around 8 or 9 offices in the largest metro cities of the country. So, it's quite bright, and there are a huge amount of opportunities available. There's a lot of tie-ups, a lot of partnerships with big employers and big names across the entire country. So, you can be rest assured that there will be employability opportunities in India with the ACCA qualification as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Taher. There's another question coming in saying that I haven't been working for a long time. I just took AA this September. I really want to start working now, but because of my career gap, it's difficult to find one. How can I increase employability? So I think me and Taher can answer this jointly. I'll talk from Kaplan's perspective first up, and then Taher can talk about the ACCA's focus on employability as well. So from my end, from Kaplan's end, as I just mentioned to you on the slides as well, that we have a lot of focus on employability. Through the Achievers program, we can help you with your technical behavioral skills, and then eventually put you in front of some really great employers who can assess your skills. And as I just mentioned, that we get asked by a lot of employers about a pool of candidates, and we are very happy to forward as long as the students are up to the mark with how we want them. So we are always doing a lot of free workshops, a lot of events, a lot of counseling for students, and we will continue doing that. So very happy to help there. And I would like to offer this opportunity to Taher to tell us that how ACCA as a qualification can help with employability as well.
So I think in terms of really supporting the employability piece, there are a few recommendations. One of the first things from a qualifications perspective, I would recommend is try and complete your ethics and professional skills module if you've not already done so, because you get to learn about a lot of employability skills, and a lot of those technical the professional competencies will get polished. Apart from that, I think being in this region, it's all about growing your network and also associating yourselves with those that can help you progress. So, finding opportunities, whether that is via your learning partner or via ACCA's careers website. So we've got a dedicated careers portal as well to help our members, students, and affiliates with career advice, whether it is things around building your LinkedIn profile, to having an effective CV, a video profile if preferably you can have one. It's all about enhancing your own personal network and building that. Interestingly, I was listening to a podcast today, and somebody commented on that podcast saying, this day and age, it's not a lot about what you know, but there is also an element about who you know. So this is quite a critical piece of a statement, I think, personally. And it was one thing that out of the entire podcast that I heard really stuck to my mind. So it's all about growing your personal brand and growing your network, finding those opportunities that you can grab in terms of helping your sort of employability quotient, as well as enhancing your opportunity to get yourself some opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Taher. That just answers the question beautifully. One more question saying, what is your advice who got exemption and studying FR or PM exam? Can we study these subjects without studying FA and MA? So again, I think we can take this question partially from my end. Again, when we are setting up the courses on FRPM or any other exam, we are mindful of this fact that students may have exemptions, and there is clear instructions given to the tutoring team that you go really slow initially, and if the students need any kind of added support, we are very happy to help by doing the different one-on-one sessions. And the tutors, wherever they see that there is any kind of areas which students may have been exempted from, they go really slow. For example, I teach FM and AFM, and when I am teaching AFM and I know there are exemption students who may have missed the yearly paper, I'll go really slow on that area, just so that everyone is progressing with the same speed. Taher, your views on this question?
Yeah. So I mean, my suggestion would be this: it's always good to sort of refresh your knowledge. And again, this is a very situational thing. So depending on how fresh your knowledge around financial management and management accounting is, you can decide to take that call whether you really need to go back revisit. In most cases, it isn't required. Specifically if you study with some of our really good learning partners, because like Waleed said, our learning partners will ensure that they are catering to every student in their classes, whether it is by giving them extra attention out of class, or whether it is setting the pace of the class to ensure that everybody is on board at the same time. But there is absolutely no harm in revisiting any syllabus areas, if you like, because it's just going and firming up all the knowledge that you've had. Obviously, if you've got exemptions from the first 3 or 4 ACCA exams and you're concerned, then a good starting point for you as a student would also be going back and looking at our syllabus and study guide documents that are available on our website. So having a read through of the syllabus and study guide, you will be able to connect and you'll be able to recall instantaneously whether yes, okay, this rings bell and I know what gets covered within this area of the syllabus. This also rings a bell, I know what gets covered. This probably doesn't so much, so I need to perhaps go and look into that specific area and then just revise that specific. So rather than investing your time into going through the entire subject, I think you can pick and choose what you want to do by just going and reviewing the syllabus and study guide. We also have something that's called as the VLC, which is the virtual learning center, where we've got ACCA students have access to this. You need to register, and we've got short quizzes. You can decide to take those quizzes on any of the ACCA exams, and based on your result, the quiz will be able to tell you whether your knowledge is good in a certain area of the subject or not, etc. You can also choose to then go back and revisit knowledge from those areas if needed.
Yeah, absolutely great advice. And as I said, there's lots of resources available from ACCA as well. A lot of technical articles are really good as well in bridging that gap. And I know that ACCA Middle East, especially Taher's team, constantly is looking at creating more Bridge the Gap series, which helps students with these exemptions. So ACCA is there to help you. We are here to help you. So again, if you're going to join us for any kind of classes, we'll ensure that any kind of basics that you've missed, they're covered in a right manner. One more question is coming, that what is CGA CPA? So I think that's for about that mutual agreement that ACCA has.
Thanks, Walid. So basically, that's our strategic partnership with the Canadian CPA body, which basically recognizes ACCA members. So ACCA members, if they wanted to pursue an additional, because see, in Canada and in the US, the qualifications are pretty much based on US GAAP, whereas the ACCA qualification is based on international financial reporting standards. So this partnership basically just recognizes certain common areas of prior learning and education, which means ACCA members do not need to do the entire full qualification of the CGPA or Canadian CPA. Instead, via this partnerships route, they only need to do certain number of exams. I think there's about 2 exams, and they can pretty much also work towards getting an additional membership for themselves. But there is obviously more detail on this partnership on our website, and if you wanted to get into the specifics, because it's quite detailed, and I'm conscious of the time here, you can pretty much either reach out to sort of Kaplan, and we can email the details across to them, or feel free to sort of get in touch with our local offices, and one of our team members can also advise you on the specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to help, and same goes for ACCA as well. Always happy to help with student queries. You're welcome, Durga. Anyone has any other questions you'd like to ask? We have Taher here, our expert from ACCA. Anything you'd like to ask on ACCA employability, careers? I'll just leave a minute or two for any more questions that may come in. Feel free to type in your questions if you got anything for us. Okay, one more question, Taher. How work experience is considered?
Right. So basically, all you need in order to become a qualified ACCA member, all you need is 36 months in a relevant role. And like I said earlier, it needs to be in the accounting and finance profession. You cannot be working as an HR professional or a marketing professional and then expect that to be counted towards the 36 months. Within that 36 months of experience, you are expected to sort of complete a set of 9 performance objectives, 5 of which are compulsory, and the essentials, they're all basically around data handling, confidentiality, ethics, etc. And then there are 4 technical performance objectives, which are optional. So you get to choose. I think there's about 19 performance objectives, out of which you can select any 4 depending on what kind of careers and roles you've been in. They range from auditing all the way into taxation, financial reporting, financial management. They've got a mix of different performance objectives, but you need to complete those performance objectives. You need to have a mentor at your workplace. This will be a person who's probably your line manager or somebody who's a qualified member from an IFAC body, which is, so preferably another chartered accountant, either an ACCA or from any other relevant professional qualifications body. They will need to be able to sign off your time, your work experience, as well as the completion of your performance objectives. Once you've completed 36 months and you've completed filling up details for the 9 performance objectives, you will automatically, sort of progress towards ACCA membership.
Yeah, that's really useful. And just to add to that question, that I'm already planning to have a PER event next month. So in October, just watch out for an invite from Kaplan team, which could be around practical experience requirements event, where we will be happy to take any other questions, and hopefully we can get some support from ACCA as well there, in terms of answering any questions specifically on the PER requirements. Any other questions? I'll just leave a few seconds. If you got anything, would you like to ask us anything on today's event? Okay. If you got any other questions for later stage as well, please feel free to get in touch with the team. So there are email addresses and numbers. And if you got any questions for Taher, we can happily pass those questions to him as well, and he would kindly reply to those questions. If you got any questions for me, please feel free to speak to my team, and we are always here to help. Thank you very much for joining in, Taher. Thanks so much for your time and answering all those questions. It was great to have you here as always, and we look forward to having you again in the future.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Waleed. Thanks for having us over, and good luck to everybody who's tuned in and stayed with us in wherever you are on your ACCA qualifications journey, whether you're already pursuing it or you're deciding to pursue it. The only final piece of advice that I would give is think about really investing in your future, think about investing in your career, and when you think about that, ensure that you place yourselves in the right hands, so you're giving yourself the right opportunity to progress through your ambitions. Good luck, everyone. All the best.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Savita, for joining us. Thanks for that great insight into your career, and wishing you all the best as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Thank you.